Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Nadia Holtz. It's Wednesday, September 24th, and now we will be covering the top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference in the NBA. To examine these teams with us today is professional handicapper Dave Golokoff. Dave, teams are beginning to prepare for the exhibition part of the season. We have Cleveland Cavaliers as favorite to win the conference at -125. I personally am really excited to see this team perform. LeBron James seems to be in the best shape ever, and with Kevin Love by his side, it seems like the team is the one to beat. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. I think unanimously right now it probably goes Cleveland and then everybody else. You know, Cleveland's got a big 3. They got LeBron James, and pretty much you put LeBron James on 29 other teams, they're going to be the favorite in the conference.
Right.
Maybe not Sacramento, but, you know, they got LeBron James. They have Kyrie Irving, one of the best up-and-coming point guards. We saw him at FIBA in Spain look absolutely fantastic, able to share the ball, able to score the ball, able to do everything necessary. And then, of course, they had Kevin Love. And don't forget, this team still has some holdover pieces, believe it or not. Guys like Dion Waiters, and then, you know, they bring in Mike Miller. You know, this team is pretty darn loaded. As long as they stay healthy, I don't see anybody in the Eastern Conference beating them.
Okay, excellent. And this the Chicago Bulls is at +250 to win the conference. We know a healthy Derrick Rose is a force to be reckoned with, but it's fair to say it's very unlikely he will be healthy the whole season. What are these teams' chances to win the conference without him?
Well, 0 without him, unless unless Cleveland suffers similar injuries of that magnitude. I don't think Chicago wins this conference. You know, no Derrick Rose and then them beating a healthy Cavaliers team. I don't see that happening. You know, that's really the question with the Bulls here. And I'm just going to talk about this from a betting perspective. I don't know that you can actually handicap for an injury. I mean, it's hard to go into the season and assume somebody's going to get hurt, although we oftentimes go into the season and assume everybody's going to be healthy, which we know is not going to be the case.
Right.
But with Rose, I think that, look, the risk is just not worth the reward. Is he going to play the whole season? I don't know. You know, right now, from what we saw in FIBA, him unable to play back-to-backs, you know, coming off the bench, having some early season issues, I'd be concerned. And then when you factor that in with the reward, you know, 2.5 to 1 is not great as far as, you know, a big payout. If we're talking like 8 to 1, then you maybe take a shot with somebody who's injured. But at 2.5 to 1, it just doesn't make sense to me right now. They're a good defensive team. They can challenge the Cavaliers. You know, the Cavs are going to have some chemistry issues. Chicago is probably more tight-knit, probably the better defensive team. But, you know, at 2.5 to 1 with serious injury concerns to Derrick Rose, I would avoid this team. Okay,
and if he were in his top shape, do you think LeBron's team can take the Bulls?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think team chemistry is a factor on both sides. You know, I'll answer your question in a second, but I think a lot of people think that there's a lot of assumptions made. Two things. A, that the Cavs are going to be fantastic right off the bat. A lot has changed on this team, and even with LeBron, you know, he facilitates, make everyone look good. You know, for them to be championship worthy, everything's got to come together, especially with a new head coach that we don't know a whole lot about.
Right.
But at the same time, a lot of people make assumptions with the Bulls. Let's not forget, this team's played without Derrick Rose now for 2 years. So a lot has changed for them, and I think that you gotta worry about the fact that, you know, they're adding a superstar back into the mix. Like, they really had to change how their team scored, how they, you know, got the job done on a nightly basis. So you know, they're going to have some chemistry issues themselves. I think if the Bulls, you know, to answer the original question, I think if the Bulls are healthy, I think if they're healthy and they have home court advantage, in other words, they win more games in the regular season, I think they beat the Cavaliers. I actually think that's going to be the case. I think there's too many moving parts for the Cavs right now with Blatt, you know, lots of new faces. Got to see how that works out. And they don't have, you know, I think maybe the Bulls have a slight edge in depth. So, you know, I think that if Chicago is healthy, I think their team chemistry is a little bit better. And if they have that home court advantage, I think that they can win it.
Okay, fair enough. For the third spot, you have the Washington Wizards at +1,500. Why this team and not Atlanta Hawks or the Toronto Raptors?
I mean, it's a big crapshoot at this point. Third team's going to be irrelevant, whoever they are. You know, would have been nice to see the Pacers at full strength and maybe challenging one of these top dogs. But, you know, Raptors, I don't think the Raptors did a whole lot to improve in the offseason. Drafting a guy who's 2 years away from being 2 years away, the famous line from the NBA draft. I would have liked to see them add some pieces to a young team that, established themselves last year. They did not. Atlanta, same thing. I mean, Atlanta might be better because they'll get Al Horford back. But, the team's such a big, I want to call them a shit mix of players. Hopefully it's okay to swear. But they're just, they really got it together at the end of the year, had a really easy matchup against Indiana. That's really what happened for them. This is not a very good team. They were the 8th seed. I think Washington's the most complete team as far as of the remaining teams. You got, they had Paul Pierce, John Wall, Brad Beal is a fantastic backcourt. They managed to keep Marcin Gortat. I think this is a pretty good team. We have to see them take the next step, but to be third in the Eastern Conference is it's pretty easy. There's not really anybody. You're not really competing with anybody. That first and second spot is really where the gold is at. Everybody else is weak.
Right. Okay, so Dave, we really appreciate your time. I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
For SBR Picks, this is Nadia Holtz.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.